Beside the Palm, Season 2, Episode 6.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Season 2 finale of Beside the Palm. We've saved, well, I guess sort of the best for last. But we have David Gow with us today. David Gow is a Pure Sound alum, actor, director for Tapestry Players, and I think you're even writing and directing for Babes on Broadway this year? Yeah?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, first time.
Well, welcome. We're excited to have you today.
Thank you. I'm a fan of this being at the Palm. I'm excited.
I love your kind of blue background. It's sort of like a nice ocean theme with the palm.
Yeah. Oh, I should have pretended that I planned that. This is like my self-tape setup. I have like a light right here and then this background. So
Yeah, that's what I figured. This is clearly not your first.
Not my first rodeo.
Yeah.
This is like my little corner that I do all of these at. So
Yeah.
I should have claimed that it was like a theme. Like this was very islandy and oceany. But
It's okay. We'll just go edit this part out and
we'll go back.
Start over.
Yeah, this is my ocean theme. Do you like it? I did this just for you, Jim.
I love it. Love it.
Yeah.
So we always start off with tell us your experience at St. Luke's and your involvement with the church. I know you've done a lot of stuff there. So
yeah, so I mean, I have been there my whole life because my family and I that was my church growing up. I got baptized there and I did confirmation there. And then I joined Pure Sound in 6th grade, and I'm probably the most proud alumni of Pure Sound ever. I'm obsessed with Pure Sound. I love all my Pure Sounders. And then when Tapestry sort of started becoming a thing, when I was in college, I would come back and do shows with them in the summer. And then I directed Jerry Eccles one time. And then after and then I produced a show there with some of my college friends in the Rotunda. And then in one of the shows, Beverly Wabach, who used to be the St. Cecilia choir director, she and I had like the most meaningless bet ever, where she was trying to guess like what year this girl named Courtney Reed graduated, and if it was like Chelsea McCurdy's year or Payne Davis's year. And I knew the answer, and she was completely positive, and that it was a different year. And so we made a bet, and I said, if I'm right, and we'll go look this up, next year I get to pick what show you guys are doing, and I get to direct it. And again, like I did not think she was going to take the bait on that, but she was so confident that she was like, okay. And we looked it up, and I was right. And so then I picked Our Town and directed it with Tapestry, and then I've been doing like one show ever since, and I think I've done 5, and it's like the highlight of my year, and I love it. So yeah, I'm there because of a bet with Beverly Wabach.
Oh, that's so funny. I never heard that story.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, so I always do kind of associate you with Tapestry stuff, but there is one Sunday a year that I really associate you with Pure Sound, though, and that is the last Sunday that they sing, because Sid loves to remind people.
Wait, who does? Sid? Is that what you said?
Sid of the waterworks that ensued. Do you want to tell us about your last Sunday?
Yeah, sure. Thanks, Jim. So when I was a senior in high school, okay, so Pure Sound, the first Sunday of the year and the last Sunday of the year, we sang Bound for Greater Things by Ken Medema, and it's sort of the theme song for Pure Sound. And I had watched like every year the seniors like get emotional when they sang it. And so I kind of built this up for myself for years of being like, when the last note of that song comes out of my mouth, I'm officially done with Pure Sound. Like that's it, I'm out. And so I built this up forever. And at this point in my life, I wasn't like really a crier at all. Now I cry like every day. But at this point, I was not a crier. But I remember that last Sunday morning, my senior year, I like brushing my teeth in the morning, I was crying. All of warm up, I was crying. We processed, I was crying all the way down the aisle. I cried during every hymn. I cried during like the prayer. I cried through the entire sermon. And like, it wasn't like, and I'm on the very edge. Like this is back when it wasn't like this facing the congregation.
Oh yeah.
And I was right here. And I remember kind of glancing out, and my dad's in the front row, not being like this, but he was like it wasn't cute. And like everyone saw, and like everyone heard me sniffing. But and then we sang, and it was even worse. And then I cried like on the way out. It was a disaster. Everyone, and it wasn't like, oh, poor David. It was like someone should ask him to excuse himself.
Yeah.
It was bad.
So
and
ever
Sid
since
loves it. Instead of being like poor David, he loves telling people like how I embarrassed myself in the whole congregation. So
yeah, he tells us all the time, and that's
you weren't even at St. Luke's yet, and you know that story.
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. Was that the turning point of when you became a crier? Was it that Sunday?
That was the beginning. And then when I went to acting school, they like for 4 years kind of like break you open. And now I'm a lost cause. Now I'll be in an elevator and hear like elevator music and I'll start crying. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. It's not one of our official questions, but Sid was like, yeah, ask David if he's a crier. It's like,
ask him if I'm a crier?
Yeah.
He said?
Yeah.
Yes, Sid, I'm a crier.
But we won't dwell on that. So moving on, how does it feel to come back and direct shows at St. Luke's for Tapestry Players, having performed in them when you were a small child?
Yeah.
Whatever. And then do you have a favorite show that you've directed?
Okay.
I know that's a tough one for you.
Yeah, it's like picking children, but I'll do it. I mean, it's really, really like uniquely wonderful for a few reasons. First of all, speaking of Sid, when I joined in 6th grade, Sid was such a god that like I couldn't even look him in the face. Like I was so terrified of him. And everyone just wanted to be friends with Sid. Like if I even like said hi to him, I had to go off, yes. Like it was a huge moment. But he was terrifying. And so then like to feel the progression of like, I'm terrified of him, we're talking, now we're friends, now we're very, very close, and now I would get to work with him where I'm directing and he's music directing, is like if 12-year-old David could see me now, I would be like a celebrity to him. So that in itself is amazing. I also, wait, sorry, go ahead.
And am I wrong? Did Sid have something to do with you kind of going off to pursue?
Oh, totally. So
yeah.
I like didn't really grow up, like my family was very sports oriented. Like we weren't in the arts really. And so I kind of would do that at school and then did shows with Pure Sound on the side. And that was sort of how I found my love for it. And then my senior year, my last show with Pure Sound was 7 Brides for 7 Brothers. And he could tell that like I was just a junkie for this and I loved it. And he really encouraged me to pursue it. To the point where like I was already going to Pepperdine and he like emailed the head of the department and was like, there's this guy who you should let audition for the department and stuff. He really went to bat for me. It's like, I mean, with no exaggeration, I would be doing a different career if it weren't for Sid. So as much as, you know, he's garbage, I do like owe him all credit for like my joy with all of this. And
I should say that all views and opinions expressed in this interview are solely yours and not.
Wait, I'm confused because you just texted me about how much you hated Sid too. So let's be honest in this interview, right?
Yeah,
Jim?
Grace edit all this out.
Yeah, we'll see. So that's very special to work with Sid and that he's let me back. And that like, despite like my meltdown of like, oh my gosh, Pure Sound's done, that I've had this like second life with St. Luke's has been incredible. And I'm obsessed with the Tapestry people. Like, not only is it the most like loving, wonderful group, the talent is ridiculous. Like everyone's mind is blown when they come and see the shows at the voices and the abilities that we have in that room. So I mean, I look forward to it every year. I love it so much.
Yeah. Well, that's so cool for someone in your career, in that career path, to be able to come back to their church and do what you do.
I know. A lot of my peers are very envious that I'm like spoiled rotten. I get to come home and like be with my family and do this for 3 or 4 weeks a year. It's amazing.
It's kind of like a fun little sandbox for you to come home and play in.
Yeah.
I imagine.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah. So what is it like being a professional working actor in New York City? And is it all glamour, or is it more like Joey on Friends, or somewhere in between?
Well, right now it's awful because
I'm sure
just all my gigs have been canceled. It's been a bloodbath. The Joey and Friends thing, at its worst, it's Joey and Friends, but it's not funny. Like it's very, very hard, and I don't think it's glamorous even when it is good. Mm-hmm. It's a lot of rejection and a lot of like faith in its own way. I think you really, really have to be obsessed with it, which I am. Otherwise, I would definitely punt and go do something else. But
that's like I have no experience, obviously, in theater or acting or anything like that. But I did read. Have you read Jenna Fischer's book, The Actor's Life?
Yeah.
There was one thing in there, and a lot of that book can be applied to musicians. I'm sure you'd agree, but there was one line that I loved that said, I think a teacher of hers said, if you can think of anything else that you'd rather do it.
Yeah.
But if this is it, then this is what you have to do.
Yeah. Whenever someone asks me that question, my answer is like, oh, I do directing instead. Like it's sort of a cop-out. Like I would still stay in the arts in some way. Mm-hmm. So it's incredibly hard, but I love it sort of without good explanation, but I love the whole process of the business. Mm-hmm. So I've been in New York for 4 years. Again, right now it's tough because so much has been canceled, but yeah, I still love it and I love the city.
What would you normally be doing as far as gigs and performances?
So first half of the summer, I would have been doing a show in the Berkshires at a theater called Shakespeare and Company, where I've done shows the last 3 years. Auditions are happening again, but they're all in self-tape, a la my Ocean setup here, as opposed to going in the room, which is good and bad because then you can kind of perfect the audition and you don't have to do the awkward, like, good morning, and like that small talk stuff.
Well, and you get multiple shots at it.
Yeah, exactly. So that actually is kind of nice. It is very weird though, like so much of the culture in New York is theater, and not just like the big glitzy like Broadway shows, but like, like the downtown and Brooklyn theater scene is very sort of rugged and small, but like it's a lot of young artists hustling, and that has all been stopped. Is a lot of the identity of New York is kind of muted right now, but at least auditions are happening still.
Speaking of auditions, again, we were talking with Sid about what can we, ask David about. Is there a funny story, I think, about you going to audition for something and it wasn't quite what you thought it was, but you got the part anyway? Is that vague? Do you know what I'm talking about? Was there dancing involved?
Yeah, okay. God, Sid is just trolling me in this interview. Like my first month in New York, where I was like, I'm going to audition for everything. Here I come. Look out. I was in a play with a guy, and he texted me, and he was like, hey, my friend is, okay, I have to make this story short. He texted me, and he's like, my friend's casting this commercial for the US Open, like the tennis tournament. He's like, send me your headshot. I did. He's like, great, you got it. Go get there in an hour and a half, and you can do it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I get to do a commercial. So I get there, and they're holding us, and I look around, and like clearly everyone is a dancer but me. Like just physically, really tall and skinny. Their legs are like this, and they're wearing like, a lot of them are wearing hip hop clothes or leotards. And I'm like, oh, that's weird. And then like this like PA with a headset's like, all right, dancers, come over here. We're going to have you guys come out and perform for us in like 5. And at this point, people are like, got it. And they're stretching and like picking their leg up and putting it on the wall. And I'm like, wait, what? And everyone's kind of talking about like, yeah, I started ballet when I was 4, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, is everyone here a dancer? And they're like, yeah, are you not? Why are you here then? And I realized that the commercial was like a music video with Phil Collins where we were going to be dancing around it. And not everyone was going to be used. They were only going to pick like 10 of us. And so we had to go out and dance for them by ourselves. And this wasn't like in a studio. We were outside at the tennis courts, like with like strangers all around, like filming us and stuff. So they played this like salsa song, and one by one they're like, go out. And like we had to go out and do something. God, I'm getting like anxiety living this. And so in my mind, I was like, just commit. I'm not going to get this. And so I like went on, like plastered like a smile on my face and just did like 10 seconds of a dance and then kind of ran off. And somehow probably, I don't know why, but I was one of the 10 picked. And so I was in this music video, and the only cut they use of me, besides me just kind of walking around, is like at one point, they're like, and Phil Collins was there, which is super cool, you know, the legend. They're like, okay, everyone go up and do like a cool dance move around Phil and then run off. And so people are like jumping into the splits, or they're like, you know, spinning 4 times, like ba, 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 and they're like running off. And I'm running up to him, and in my mind, it's like slow motion, and I've literally no idea what I'm gonna do. And so I just panic and like run up behind him, and I dust his shoulders off and do this and run off. And the guy was like, that was great. And it's in, like, they kept it. And so if you watch the video, I'll send it to you, Grace. You can, he like does, me doing this to his shoulders is in it. So.
Oh, that's so funny. Meanwhile, you probably pissed all the other dancers off that didn't get the part.
Yeah, it was bad. And some of them were like, yeah, I have my own dance studio. And I was like, I don't dance. And then I got it over them. It was uncomfortable, but.
Maybe you missed your calling.
Maybe.
Yeah.
No. I got $100 for the day, and I was thrilled. So I think I retired after that.
So funny. Well, so apart from, you know, these big dance productions you've been a part of, you recently were on a show that I think most people would know, right? Madam Secretary?
Yeah, I did the season 5 finale of Madam Secretary. I played one of 2 Russian, didn't say Russian, but it's implied that it's Russian, Russian assassins. And I did not speak, but I killed like 30 people. It was great.
So what's it? I have to watch this. I want to see your scene, but I haven't watched Madam Secretary, so I hate to just like jump in to watch.
I mean, I've never watched the show either.
Oh, okay. Well,
they were like, they're like, you're killing so-and-so. And I was like, I don't know who that is, but.
Well, so what's it like being on set and filming something like that?
It's good and bad. I mean, it's unbelievable how much longer it takes than theater.
Mm-hmm.
My scene was probably 30 seconds long, and it took 15 hours to film.
Wow.
So it's a lot of sitting around. But like, I mean, it's a lot of learning and people watching. Like I did another one on the show, The Good Fight, where I had 2 lines. But like Christine Baranski and Audra McDonald were in the scene. And so even though, again, it was very, very short, Audra McDonald's as good as it gets. And so watching her like preparing for it, and she was incredibly sick that day. And so watching her like turning it on and off when the camera went on, that's the most fun part, is just watching these stars in their element that are like really, really good. Yeah, it's long days. I mean, I obviously I will say yes to those jobs, but I prefer theater just because there's so much that is not acting. It's like the technical part that is not as interesting to me, but still, it's like, it's so fun.
Oh, sure. And my next question was, have you had a chance to meet or work with anybody we know or recognize? But you've already dropped a few names that I think we know. I mean,
Audra was, I was on a mission to become her best friend that day, but unfortunately she was very sick. So when I got introduced, like, this is David Gow, and it was like 4 people, and I just looked right at Audra because I didn't care about the other ones. And I was like, hi, and she went, and I was like, I'm done. That's what I needed. I'm thrilled. So that was very cool. I mean, I've done catering jobs for like the most fancy schmancy events there are, like the Met Gala and like the Vanity Fair Oscar party. And that's like any celebrity you would want to know. And that's fun to watch, like seeing the hierarchy of like which celebrity is like cool to other celebrities and what celebrity they don't like and stuff, and who gets really drunk and stuff. So yeah, that's good people watching.
That is cool. So what is your, do you have a dream job, or do you want to end up on the big screen or Broadway, or you have a dream role? I know these are deep, thought-provoking questions.
I mean, okay, so dream role, which will not come for a while, I recognize. For musical theater, which I don't like identify as a musical theater performer, I gotta play Tevye before I die, which I know is kind of random, Fiddler on the Roof, but I have 20, 30 years before that. I mean, to me, like the Mount Everest is Broadway. And so even if it's not a substantial role, just the competitive side of me is like, I would hit that at some point. But and then TV, film, theater, I love it all. I'll basically do anything. I just like interesting stories and parts. So I'm like the least picky. I'll say yes to anything, even if it's not a lot of pay. Like, I love it all.
Maybe this is sort of an obvious question, but to actors and just in general, what is sort of a kind of you've made it moment? Like, what is the pinnacle of that? I mean, is it Broadway or major motion film?
I mean, that answer and that bar keeps changing for me a little bit. Like, I remember in college, it was like, it's to get signed by an agent, and then once I did that, it's like, okay, it's to go equity or it's to go SAG. And then after that, it does keep going. I would say, depending on what a lot of us just would like to get to the point where we are being offered parts more than we're auditioning.
Sure.
I would say Broadway is, again, like the golden bar standard, or like a series regular on TV. I mean, that is like the dream job of, like, first of all, financially, you'll get royalties for that for the rest of your life.
Right.
Or like working on a show like American Horror Story, where you're on a show and then like every season you get a new character. That's a dream. By the way, before I forget, I didn't answer favorite show, A Tapestry. And I
that's
have
right.
to
Yeah.
get on the record. I love them all. They're all my children. But Little Women will always have my heart. That's still number one. Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. That does seem to be the consensus among people lately. That's been a hit. Yeah.
I mean, Drew was like a crazy circus, and that's the hardest one we did, but my favorite will be Little Women.
Yeah. That was a good show. It was really good.
You only like Mamma Mia. Don't pretend that you liked it. You like Mamma Mia and you liked Barefoot in the Park.
I was not as emotionally impacted, I think, as most people. I'll put it that way. Like, when we all went to see the movie after, was that a couple months? Oh, God.
Yes.
Was that last year now? I remember getting out of the theater, and I mean, you and I think everybody just were like sobbing.
It looked like we all just left a funeral from our best friend, but you didn't know the person that died. Like, that was the disparity in grief. You were like, okay, popcorn was good. And like, we were like crawling out of the theater.
Yeah. I was there for the emotional support.
Yeah. We needed someone that was going to be like stable-minded. So
exactly. Yeah, it's me. So talking about Tapestry again, you recently produced a show in New York, right?
Yeah.
You want to tell us about that a little bit?
Yeah. So actually, I kind of got like a little taste of producing first, sort of with Tapestry, where the first show I produced was, I went to Sid in Beverly, and I said, my college friends and I want to do a show here in Houston called Law Dispute. Can we use the Rotunda, and any ticket proceeds we'll give to the church? And they said yes. And that was sort of my first hand at the process of producing, which was very different for a lot of reasons, because like I was handed this amazing theater. But the process of like casting it and the director and set and dates and promoting it, I sort of got a taste of it. So that I loved. And then the next one I did was at the Hollywood Fringe Festival in LA. And then I've now done 2 shows in New York, which in New York is a completely different animal, because, even renting a rehearsal studio can be thousands of dollars.
Right.
And it's very difficult to get the rights because everyone is doing theater, and so it's very hard to get rights for shows in New York. But it's sort of like for me, the most artistically fulfilling way to do theater, because you have a hand in the entire process. If you pick the story, why do you want to do it? You pick the designers who do lighting, costume, sound, music, the set. I mean, it's the most exhausting, but it's the most rewarding experiences I've had, probably. The fundraising part is not fun. That's just asking for money. I think some people get really comfortable doing it. It's not my favorite thing to do, but I love doing it. I would like to probably produce something on screen next, just because there's more distribution with that, of like, then I don't go to people in Houston and be like, can I have money for a show in New York that you'll never see, you know?
Right.
So I'd like to do something on camera next, but yeah, I love producing.
That's cool. Well, speaking of loving things and favorite things, you've done your homework, I know, watching all these past episodes in preparation. So do you want to tell us what your 5 favorite things are right now? Okay.
They're kind of random.
That's great.
The first one is NBA playoffs started yesterday, which I've been waiting for forever, because they went on hiatus because of the pandemic, and then they went back into a bubble. They're back. There were 4 games yesterday. I just sat on the couch. Amazing. Bike riding, city bikes here in New York is a big thing.
Yeah.
Okay, this is really dorky, and I'm probably too old for this, but I found a Nickelodeon cartoon that came out like 15 years ago called Avatar: The Last Airbender, and I'm obsessed with it. I'm watching the sequel, Legend of Korra, now. Amazing. I didn't see the movie because I was told the movie ruins it, but that TV show has my heart.
I think my middle brother, or maybe my younger brother, loved that show.
At what age?
I can't remember now. Maybe when I was in high school or college. So probably
not late 20s, but
no. But
yeah.
But when I was in college, it did seem to become very popular with a lot of people in my class. So like I would come down at like 10:30 at night into like the common area, and there would be 20 or 30 people crammed around a TV watching Last Airbender.
That makes me feel a little better. That makes me feel better.
Yeah.
It's so good. Yeah. Speaking of crying, it gets me all the time. Okay, that's 3. Michelle Obama, especially after her speech last night. And then 5th thing, this is kind of dorky, but I'm very bad at pausing and slowing down in life, which Sid gets very mad at me for all the time. And so while I do miss working and having a busy schedule, it has sort of been nice being forced to slow down and just like sit with myself and my thoughts. So I'm learning to do that and like that more.
Yeah. And I hope you don't mind me bringing this up, but you really had to slow down recently, didn't you?
Yeah. So, well, kind of in 2 ways. So Sid got mad at me when in like March of 2019, I like was filling in for someone doing a one-man show, and I had to learn like a 90-minute show of just me talking on stage in 2.5 weeks, and it almost killed me. And like, I had to like pause after that because I had sort of hit a wall mentally. And then physically, when I produced this show, I like 10 days before we opened our show, I dislocated my shoulder in rehearsal and tried to do the whole thing, and like, yes, which I actually kind of liked for the character because he was like a kid who like fights in the playground all the time. So I ended up kind of liking it, but that's another, I mean, so.
Well, that's why I'm laughing. I'm not laughing because you dislocated your shoulder. I'm laughing because of the incident at the hospital, right?
Yeah.
Didn't you cry?
Oh gosh. Is Sid like standing behind you right now?
He's not here, I swear.
Yeah. There is a video which is absolutely not allowed to be edited into this, Grace. I don't even know if you have your hands on this, where they had to fully drug me to get my shoulder back in its socket. And when I come to on like jacked up on medicine, there's a character in the play that I did named Decky who died, and I am beside myself sobbing, harder than I ever have cried in my life, but saying Decky didn't get to grow up. I miss Decky. He was my best friend. And it's like it's like too uncomfortable to watch. It's like not even that funny because it's like I shouldn't be watching this. Like
I disagree, but
oh well, okay, good. I'm glad you were amused by that. How did you even see that? Is it just circulating around Tapestry and I don't know?
I don't remember. I don't know if Sid or Meredith or who knows, Yeah.
Gosh, there's no secret.
But this isn't even what I was talking about.
Oh.
I meant because you got, but this is all great. I meant because you actually came down with COVID, didn't you?
Oh yeah, I did.
Oh yeah, dude.
Yeah.
That small detail.
Right. So I kind of did right when everything picked up, like in March. I did, and I checked every box of every symptom, and it was before they had like actual testing.
Right.
But like when I like took a jar of peanut butter and stuck my face in it and smelled nothing, I was like, yeah, I got it. So yeah, I'm a Corona survivor.
Yeah. Well, we are very glad that you survived and
Yes.
you could be here. Well, we are getting to one of my favorite parts, which, as I'm sure you know now, is the rapid fire round.
Okay. So this one I care about, and I have a question.
Okay.
Is it 20 questions
It
every
is
time?
20 questions.
Okay. I'm gonna get this.
And so far, yeah, the record is 19. I think we have a 3-way tie for 19. So you could be the champion here.
If it breaks up, am I allowed to redo, like our connection?
We haven't had that issue.
Okay.
So
Hope for the best.
I think we'll just go and see what happens. So
Okay.
I'm going to get my timer out here. All right, are you ready? Okay,
Yeah.
1 minute. I have high hopes for you.
Okay.
I'm really hoping you don't let me down. So,
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Straight play or musical?
Straight.
Coke or Pepsi?
Pepsi.
Acting or directing?
Acting.
New York or LA?
New York.
Comedy or drama?
Drama.
Milk or dark chocolate?
Dark chocolate.
TV or movies?
TV.
Peanut butter, Jif or Skippy?
Jeff.
What color is your toothbrush?
Blue.
Little Women, musical or movie?
Musical.
Pokemon or Yu-Gi-Oh?
Pokemon.
Glass half empty or half full?
Half full.
PlayStation or Xbox?
Xbox.
Tap or jazz?
That.
Mac or PC?
Mac.
Favorite type of bagel?
Plain.
Audra McDonald or Kelly O'Hara?
Audra McDonald.
Who killed Edwin Drood?
Chris Sparkle.
Fruit or veggies?
Veggies.
Sweatpants or jeans?
Sweatpants.
Yell rapid fire champion as loud as you can.
Champion! I didn't hear what you said. Rapid fire champion.
I said yell rapid fire champion as loud as you can.
My heart is racing.
You did it. You did it with like 2 seconds to go.
Yes. This was my main goal for this interview. I wanted that so badly.
My heart was racing there because I'm like, oh my God, we're getting so close. We're getting so close.
Doing that and reliving the crying in the sanctuary, I'm just a puddle right now. The amount of sweat from this interview.
Well, to celebrate, we had a special little surprise here.
Oh gosh.
Well.
She was going to be a surprise. No, she hasn't.
Okay, what's going on?
She was going to be the surprise whether or not you won. Meredith, he just won the rapid fire round. He got all 20 questions
With time to spare.
with a few seconds to spare. I mean, that was amazing. Truly.
That's impressive. Are you so proud of yourself?
I wanted it really badly. Yeah.
I know you did.
It only took 2 seasons, but we did it. I guess we can end the show now. I mean, there's nothing left to watch for.
Wow.
Yeah, that was all people tuned in for, was just see someone do it.
What's that, Meredith?
I said, I don't know why I'm here.
No, I meant end the series. Like, we might as well just call it quits after this. I mean, yeah. Well, I asked Meredith, for anybody who doesn't know, this is Meredith Davis. She is our director of outreach at St. Luke's. She is Sid Davis's daughter. I'm so sorry that you have to deal with him. but she wanted to grace us with, well, we wanted her to grace us with her presence today, since you two were sort of friends and
A little bit.
have gotten up to a lot of trouble over the last years of your life.
Yeah,
I don't know, however long you've known each other.
I'm a horrible influence on Meredith.
It's true. In fact, that brings me to my
I know, that's a perfect segue.
Perfect. So, word is that you are quite mischievous and have a bit of a reputation for your tricks and pranks around St. Luke's. Is there any one of those that you would like to pick to tell us about?
How dare you? I've just been blindsided this entire interview, by the way. Okay, so we did this prank where we took a bunch of bagels, Einstein bagels, great bagels, and this was before there was security at St. Luke's. You'll see why there is.
Yeah, there's security now, yeah.
Yeah. We broke into the offices, and with 200 bagels from Einstein, we just blew up the place. We put one on Tom Pace's desk, and then we did like a trail going all the way through the cubicles. We put them in every drawer of Meredith's office, and like we filed, we wrote in the files bagels and stuffed every file with bagels. And then we went to Sid's office and just littered the place. I mean, there were probably 100 bagels alone in Sid's office. And I was kind of on this high of like, we're just doing pranks. And so I didn't think much about it, went to bed, and woke up in the morning kind of like, what did I just do? And I had like 20 missed calls, and people were not taking it well. They went to the security camera footage to see who had done it. And long story short, that is why there is now heavy security measures. And like the reason you'll have those key cards is because of that night. Because I broke in at like 1:30 in the morning.
There used to be a keypad on that door over by Sid's office, you know?
Yeah, and he gave me a combo, and then it was over. So
that's when the keypad went away.
Oh, that's so funny. And
it should be like that should be like the litmus test of like when you came to the church, like pre-bagels or after bagels, like if pre-badge or you know.
And there is photo evidence of this, right?
Is there evidence of it?
I think Sid has showed me a picture, maybe. Yeah,
we took pictures.
Every time you say evidence, I'm worried it's going to be like, roll it. It's just going to pop up on my screen. But yeah, no.
I mean, that's probably what's going to happen when we air this. So that's like speaking of evidence, Sid loves to, you and Sid's electric chair have a special relationship too. And you like to just kind of hop on and do your thing. I know there's a video, I think, of you driving down Westheimer.
There is, yeah.
In that chair, in rush hour traffic.
That one I'm proud of. That one I'm happy to send Grace and she can upload.
Oh, we already have it. Don't worry.
Meredith is filming that, so she was a part of that. You can hear her voice.
Yeah. Yeah. So.
I thought that was the end of David. I thought that's where we lose him because he was very much in the middle of traffic.
That was pretty reckless. Yeah.
Yeah. But, well, is there any other stories you're dying to tell, or should we call it quits at that?
I mean, there's a lot, but I just think we should call it.
Yeah. Okay. Well, that's just comedy gold right there. So, well, Meredith, I know you were super busy today, so thank you so much for popping on here to help me give David a hard time.
Anytime I can give David a hard time, I'm in.
Yeah. Well, you can kick yourself off. Your services are no longer needed now, but we're going to wrap this up. And yeah, you guys can text and complain about me later. So
can't wait.
Bye.
Meredith.
So now, has your heart stopped racing so much now?
I'm coming
down a
little bit. Yeah.
There's no more surprises. Okay. So you always know that we always end these interviews with saying, since this is a music and fine arts production, is there a song or piece of music that you'd recommend that our viewers go listen to after this?
Yes. Okay. So this is kind of random, but I'm during quarantine trying to reteach myself piano. So I've been playing this piece. There's a movie that came out in like 1997 called The Legend of 1900. And it was a movie about a ship that came out the same year as Titanic, so no one really saw it. But all of the music is written by, and please correct me if I'm saying his name wrong, Ennio Morricone. Is that how you say his name? The guy who wrote like Gabriel's Oboe for The Mission.
Yes, I actually don't really. Yeah, I think that's right.
Please correct me, Grace, later if I said that wrong. I think it's Ennio Morricone, and he wrote this song in the movie. It's a character who just sits at a piano, and whatever he sees and is thinking, he comes up with a song. And he looks through a window and sees this woman who he falls in love with immediately. And so the song is called Playing Love, and it's from The Legend of 1900. It's on like Spotify and stuff, or you can go on YouTube and watch the movie clip, but it's a beautiful piece.
Awesome. So you're going to play it for us on the piano and send us a video?
I could play like 8 measures if you give me like a week. Maybe just go to YouTube. Just go to YouTube.
You have until Friday when Grace airs the episode, so.
Okay, I'll see what I can do.
Well, David, thank you so much for taking some time today to talk to me. This was so much fun. So
thank you. Yes,
yeah.
I'm looking forward to this.
Yeah. Well, you take care. Try not to get reinfected.
I'm trying. You too.
And we'll look forward to seeing you, on the big screen or on Broadway sometime soon.
Or hopefully back with Tapestry.
Or hopefully back with Tapestry. Yeah.
So yeah.
Awesome. Well, you take care, and we'll talk soon.
Okay. Cool. Bye, Jen.
All right. Bye. Thank you.